traders, Nick from Vant Trading here, coming at you with what was supposed to be Saturday's top trades of the week video. So this is going to be the top trades covering last week from August 9th to August 13th, the Monday through Friday of 2021. And today's video, I will try to keep it brief, educational, informative, and maybe entertaining. But today we'll be talking about two of our favorite earnings breakout catalyst bars, and these catalyst earnings breakouts typically have been leading to multi-day runs. I mean, we're talking some serious movers, and I'll give you a couple examples of where this has been working in the past, why this setup is one of our favorites right now, and hopefully you can walk away with some interesting theories or understanding about what is a catalyzing event for a stock and what can cause a multi-day run out, and hopefully you are at least entertained. And if that's the case, please drop a like, subscribe for future video updates, and if you have any questions, comments, or you want me to cover any other topics, drop them in the comment section below. If this video is still in a lower resolution, give it a couple more minutes. Sometimes YouTube takes a couple of extra minutes to get the HD version processed. All right, let's talk about it. So it's going to be two main stocks I'm going to be focusing on. First of all, Upstart. Upstart reported earnings on Wednesday, August 11th. Nice little breakout here. We're talking a stock that, was doing pretty well. It wasn't super overvalued. It was hugging its 50-day and its 20-day SMA prior. It was, if I remove those days off the bar, you'll see it was already kind of wedging up and looking really like it had some breakout potential, frankly, prior to the earnings. That's a good sign. Typically I like to see that run up, that anticipation in front of earnings. We've seen it run in the past. This is a stock that had 2 earnings seasons ago a really nice breakout from earnings. Already we've got some good history and price action here. Relatively newer stock as well. Then we have our earnings day, and lo and behold, it has good earnings, and it gaps up, gets right up to this resistance here, this level that we couldn't quite hold above, and finishes strong. It has a good day. This tail end wick here is a good sign to me, because if I pull up the intraday and go to, say, a 5-minute that shows the last 3 trading days, this is your earnings day here. The sellers actually took control of this at one point, but the buyers finished strong. That's a good sign, first of all. You need a strong day on that earnings day. You want to make sure that the buyers are in there and that people don't just take profits on earnings. We see that a lot right now. We see good earnings, a stock breakout, and then people lock in profits and drop that stock and drive it back down. So this is when we first get interested, is when it really holds up here, holds at this key resistance that I pointed out on the daily. Then the next day we open up right at this level. We waste rarely any time and we start going. Boom. Now we know, all right, this stock has maintained its strength. It's maintained that interest, at least for the moment. We're interested in that multi-day run out. And so there you go. You get that breakout. We finish again pretty strong near the highs, held VWAP, that volume weighted average price, the entire time, and that continues to another day of running. And so you had nice strong moves on this UPST. Would definitely still consider holding this one with a tight trailing stop, taking profits along the way. Got through a nice psychological $200 level. Really nice catalyst event for a breakout. Another one is Unity Software, so another U stock here. Kind of the same setup here, where we were wedging up to an extent, sitting on our 20 and our 50. We are below a newly formed 200-day, so that is a little bit of resistance that I was worried about. But we are holding up pretty nicely into earnings. Bam! We break out on earnings. This one doesn't gap up as much, which is nice. It doesn't have gap rules to apply there. And this one explodes like a shot out of a cannon. Great bar, healthy, strong bar on those earnings. If I go to the intraday, you will see right here that it was pretty much strong the whole time. We opened up at the high of the pre-market, nice opening drive, held VWAP the whole time, got a nice little midday hold here at the highs, and we continued and finished at the high of day. Really good sign. Picked up where we left off the next day. We already were interested. It was a really nice strong bar. Tight trailing stop if you get in early, but this one is continuing to run. Honestly, this is an undervalued stock, quote unquote, compared to the technicals, compared to the market. We're not overcooked too much on the RSI yet. This one could still run. You do have a gap fill up here that was never completed, so this one could have some potential going forward for a longer term swing, but a nice catalyzing bar, just like Upstart, that continued its way up. This is a setup that we've seen several times before. Look at another stock, Tyson. This one reported the prior, this one actually reported last week as well. And so look at the nice breakout we had on here. Earnings bar was sitting on its 200-day simple moving average, not doing too much. Nice earnings, finished at the high of day, good strength, good healthy play. People didn't just lock in profits and take off risk on this one, and it continued the next day. Now you add 2 interesting days of chop. That does happen on these catalyzing bars. They don't just go straight up. Let's be honest, stocks rarely do that, but they never really violated new lows. They continued to make new highs. They fought and fought, and on Friday it actually continued its way up. This one could continue. We're at new 52-week highs, and it's rocking and rolling. Volume still holding up pretty good. That's another good sign that I forgot to mention. Unity software, the volume slowly descending, not dropping off like a cliff, and Upstart is holding up very, very well. So we'll see how it holds this week, but we're seeing the same thing in Tyson. Volume's actually ticking back up now. This one could continue, and we've seen this before. If I pull up, for example, and pardon all of the lines, let's remove those. AMD, this was an earnings breakout here. This one didn't even run the first day. It took some time, took off, and we ran like a banshee for like 2 weeks straight. Finally got a little bit of a pullback, and we may be picking our way up. And look at the volume the whole time. The volume really held until you had a little bit of what's called a blow off top here in terms of RSI, in terms of volume, and then you take some profits. So this is a chart setup that we've seen several times. It does not always work. Just because a stock beat earnings doesn't mean it's going to run forever. We see plenty of stocks take profits on earnings and dip by bad earnings. So you really need that confirmation. You need a good system of price confirmation, trailing stops, measuring the internals of the stock, and really getting a good feel for the strength of the stock. But these have been some good setups. I'm excited for another week of lesser earnings, and I'm excited of another week in the market, but hopefully this was helpful and informative. Hopefully this kind of gave you a little insight as to, look, some of these stocks that finish strong, you see that health, you see that people are risk on these stocks after a good earnings report. Sometimes it can lead to some follow through. Who knows where these stocks will continue to go, but for now they've been providing some great opportunity, and they'll continue to do so. I appreciate you for tuning in. I'll see you next time, and as always, safe trading.